They came, they conquered. Team Corridor 7 Coffee Roasters is back with their new venture called Corridor 7 Standing Room. More than a cafe, this new venture is all about exploring and having a coffee experience. From roasting to brewing a perfect cup of coffee, Corridor 7 Standing Room will help enhance your knowledge in and around those brown beans. Focusing on giving its customers an insight to what they call it a coffee gallery, today I, Gursshheen, on this episode of Discover Nagpur with Nation Next, will take you all on a virtual tour to the Standing Room and explore what they've got for us. So here I am inside the standing room, and to enhance my coffee experience a bit more, along with me I have Mithilesh, who will help me brew a coffee. So Mithilesh, what are we brewing today?
We're making a V60, so this is a pour-over technique basically.
Alright.
And this is V60 because this is 60-degree angle over here, this entire shape. And
Okay.
while we are brewing it, we have a weighing scale iske niche.
Okay.
So in X amount of time, you want Y amount of coffee, right? So you get that taste again and again. So what we're going to do right now is we've taken like 20 grams of coffee in this.
Yeah.
This is a grinder in which we're going to put the coffee, right? And once we put it on the hopper, so you're going to smell when we grind the coffee, na?
Yeah.
So we put the whole beans on top, and once you put on the grinder, that's how the coffee gets ground, right?
And this amount of coffee, like if the beans are full until here, they can go.
I mean,
you can grind.
yeah,
it
depends on
back.
how much you want to
Alright.
grind the coffee, right? So this is the coffee. There you go. You can have a smell of it.
It smells strong.
Yeah.
And do we need to keep it on this?
Yeah, just keep it on that so that now it's taken the weight also, and we're gonna tear it so it becomes 0.
Okay.
So the temperature is also set in this. We want it at 91 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
Alright, so this is like a temperature controlled kettle. It
Alright.
is not something which you just heat the water. You want the water at a particular temperature. So this is 91, and now we start pouring. So the moment we start pouring the water, we've started a timer also. You will see there will be some bubbles coming up. That's basically the CO2 coming out of the coffee. That's the carbon dioxide. And we put 95 ml. We're just going to circulate it a little bit so that it's evenly brewed. Tap it a little bit. This is called a blooming basically. So blooming is when the CO2 emits. So you see this?
Yeah.
These are alternative brewing techniques. When you go to a cafe, you would now start seeing this, but the challenge is you don't see them brewing on a scale, you don't see them taking care of the temperature, you don't see them, the ratios are not set and all.
Right.
But this comes under alternative technique. Like this, the siphon, the chemex, the air press, these are all alternate techniques.
Alright.
Alternative because the main is the espresso. Not main, but prima facie everybody has been having an espresso or a doppio or a cappuccino or a latte. But these become like an alternative brewing guide altogether.
Right.
So the same coffee brewed in different techniques is going to taste very
differently.
different. Yeah.
True.
So here we put 270 ml.
So I have some amazing in-house bakery food in front of me over here, which I swear I can't stop looking at. Mithilesh, first come first. The standing room concept seems to be a very unusual yet astonishing concept. So how did you come up with an idea of Corridor 7 standing room?
So we've been in business for past 4 years, and amongst which 2 years have been in COVID.
Yeah.
Our prima facie focus has always been about giving experience. So we're not in a coffee or beverage industry, but we're in a experience industry. So when COVID struck, basically the business was going fine. Glad to the response that we got from just not just the locally, not just from Nagpur, but pan India as well, because the coffee ships. But the essence kind of got away from us, the experience that we could give. So standing room comes as a concept where basically you cannot just pay for your coffee and get out, but it's more like you got to stand, you got to speak, you got to converse around coffee. And as everybody says that we are not just a cafe, we are more than that.
Yeah.
We want to tell you what coffee is. We want to kind of bore you a little bit for sure, but it's not a transaction that will happen. It's more of a communication that we want. So that's how a standing room concept came in, where basically you'll be standing over there and you can see the entire process, right from the baking till your manual setup, your espressos. You can see that entirely in front of you happening, rather than you sitting somewhere else and your order coming to your table. So initially we want to start up with that.
Yeah.
Gradually the standing room will become a seating space, but that's what the concept of standing room is.
You have spoken a lot about communication as to how important it is for any of your cafes. You have your first venture. This is your second venture, which is slightly different. But then you've always spoken about how communication is the key for any of your startups. So why do you feel that is of the utmost importance for any of your business ventures or any of your eateries?
Right. Actually, the communication comes out because we have the knowledge, we have the information, we have the kind of expertise in our field. All right. So communication would only be possible when you really know something about your product. Communication is the only way by which we can expose what we know things about, or else we just become any other cafe where you've got a window and you can just say, hey, I want one XYZ coffee, and you just pump it out.
Yeah.
But with this communication and with the skills that our entire team is gradually having, because there are a lot of people who are getting trained, there are a lot of team members who are with us from the first day. We kind of want to like give you more information. We don't want a situation where somebody comes from the other city or other country and say, hey, you know what, I learned coffee from there. We want people to say that we learned coffee from Corridor 7. So that is very important for us, because that also builds a big trust factor.
You have brought the coffee culture in the city. I mean, after this has been my personal experience after the opening of C7, after it flourished a bit too much. You have always pushed forward the concept about customers need to know what goes in their coffee. So why do you feel that is of importance, and why do you feel that it interests customers as well, per se?
As we know, like Corridor 7 started from a small space in an area where you wouldn't expect a cafe to be, right? It's almost like a Chandni Chowk of Delhi or a Crawford Market of Bombay or Sritabadi of Nagpur, right? So that is a place where you wouldn't really expect a coffee shop to be. But the kind of experience we got and the kind of questions we started getting, I think one thing that I felt really honestly was that Nagpur is super ready for all these things. Coming back from Australia, back from Delhi, from the coffee background and all, it was very important for me to not just pump out coffees, but also, kind of have a conversation with the community regarding coffee, and then that was really well appreciated. Right from there, since after that, we've seen a lot of cafes coming up, which I'm really happy about, because that's how the culture kind of starts, right?
But do you feel there's a sense of competition now? Because there are many coffees, there's just not C7.
Yeah.
So there are many cafes, they're coming up with new concepts as well. They've got different procedures of coffees as well. So do you feel a sense of competition?
See, to be very honest, right from the first day, like even 4 years back, if you would have asked me like who your competition is, my answer would have been my second outlet of Corridor 7 would be my competition.
So you are your own competition.
So yeah, it's basically, I want to compete with my quality over here with that, because that in itself is very challenging.
True.
You would also hear in the coming days, which I would also forecast that people will be saying ki, oh, coffee over here is pretty different, coffee over there is pretty different. We don't want that. We want entire coffee experience to be same here and there. Competition is always good, and external factors keep coming in. There'll be a lot of cafes coming in, there'll be a lot of new things coming up, but then it's important for us that we know what we do rather than we get so I'll tell you something about the menu also. Like the food menu is never discussed in such a way that, oh, the city is not doing this, let's do that. We don't have that discussion. Neither do we have a discussion that, oh, they are doing it, let's do it better. We don't even have an external factor in our conversation. It's more about, this is what we like. Can we do it good? Can we do it the same way that other, like for example, a croissant or a baguette bread that we'd make. So baguette bread usually is consumed by French people a lot. We've got that approval from them, you know, because there are people who in Nagpur who keep consuming that 10 loaves every week. So that is what our benchmark is. Our benchmark has nothing to do with other cafes or anybody coming up.
Primarily now, I want to question you about your food menu. I have seen that it has anything and everything. It is not aligned with the cuisine. You know, you've got eggs, you've got croissants, it's got bakery products as well, it's got the main course as well, it's got this, you know, it's on the go snack as well. So I mean I can't fix my head towards one cuisine. You know, when I see your menu, I am confused myself as to what I want to eat.
Yeah.
So what has been your brain behind that?
The menu is one thing that I have a conversation with a lot of people. In fact, with a lot of chefs also, I had a conversation. I send them a PDF of the menu to a lot of chefs, and they're like, listen, this is a menu which is not cafe menu. This is not a French menu. This is not a English menu. It's a combination of a lot of things. So you're gonna have a lot of challenges going ahead.
Because it's got breakfast.
Yes.
It's got brunch.
Yes.
It's got a light evening snack.
Yes.
And then it's got dinner as well.
Yeah, kind of. Dinner, yeah, now it's coming up over there. But it has nothing to do with we want to satisfy every palate, because even now there are a lot of people who say your food menu is not big enough, you know.
Really?
So yeah, it happens because you'll see a lot of places having like 14 pages of food menu. We're never gonna do that.
More the menu, more the confusion. I mean, more the items. I mean, that's what I feel.
So that is where basically people go for a crowd pleasing thing. Is what I genuinely feel. As a cafe, not as a hotel. But here, menu creation or curation is an entire different journey altogether. So even if you ask any team member, anybody over here, like, what is your menu? We have not been able to describe that because it's more of a gut feeling and a conversation that we go around. So tomorrow, if somebody comes up with some recipe and say, hey, you know what, this is great. It's kind of a wavelength that we have come up to where we say, okay, this, yes, we want this on the menu. Some of the products will be like, not fitting and everything, even if it will make a lot of money or people will like it. So crowd pleasing, no. But I can't really specify what exactly the menu is about.
So at standing room at the moment, what kind of menu are you having, or what kind of items at the present you are keeping for the customers?
So I'll answer this with a little bit small story about this, that we started baking breads and croissants all in-house since the first month. All right. And we have just a couple of products which are outsourced, but most of the products now we are making it in-house. And it so happened that our cold kitchen / bakery was basically hidden inside a place where, you know, my team used to come at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. They used to start baking, and there was no appreciation towards it. The final nail in the coffin was when my best friend told me that, where do you get your croissants from? And that was like 6 months back, and I'm like, this clearly. So also what happened was, because of lockdown, there was a lot of information that got diluted. There was people who were, you know, focused on other things. They just wanted a coffee. They didn't want to focus on, like, okay, you make a bread, all right. You know, those things were not there. So at standing room, coming back to the question, one thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to expose our skills more. I wanted my team to get more acknowledgement, more appreciation, and understanding that, hey, you know what, you're coming at 6 a.m. Money is not the only factor, but people watching and coming and asking you more questions is something that they love. All right. Does not matter Hindi, English, Tamil, whatever they talk, but they just love communicating. So we can show the skills. So as standing room, we are also starting with subscriptions of bread, subscription of croissant. We are having a lot of cakes, desserts, pastry, and the timing of this place initially is also 8 to 1.
I'm very surprised with the timing. 8 to 1 is, everybody is in a rush. I mean, mostly the working class, they have to rush to work. You know, there are streetwalkers who have to head back home, and everybody has to get dressed, and they've got to get ahead with the daily chores. So why did you choose 8 to 1? Because do you not feel that this could hamper, because the footfall is going to be less?
Right from the day one, it's not to do with the footfall for quarter 7. It is not about the quantity, but the kind of quality that you can give to the guests walking in. So I stay like 1 block away from here, and I see in the evening what kind of rush this lane has. If I think business-wise, I would have gone for the evening, and I would have catered to that rush and gone boom, boom, boom. But I just want to show that again what we exactly do. So remember, we are just not a standing room, we've got a roastery behind. So whenever anybody walks in, even if they're getting late, we have seen like they take out 5 minutes and they just come and look at the place, right? So now it's been like just 6 days, 7 days, and we already have got like around 15-20 regulars who come for a walk. They come, we know what their coffee is, have a conversation, ask them what they're up to today, and they head out. I've been a fan of building it out gradually, not having a big bang boom opening, because I just wanted to stretch myself as much as I can deliver. That's about it. So good question actually, like why in the morning? But as I said, like it's nothing to do with business. It's to do more with an experience that I want to give, experience that we want to cater, and tell everybody that what coffee exactly is about. So here it is. That's what we do.
Speaking about, you've spoken in the past about the benchmark. You just said that you've already got regulars. It's just been 6 days since you opened this new place, and you've got regulars coming in. And you said that a benchmark has been set with the venture which was before. Do you feel there is a pressure on you that this place has to get into the same deliverance which you had before, and you have to keep your regulars intact so that you don't even lose out on business?
We don't have to play any gimmicks actually. That is what we've realized, one thing, that we're not the people who would go for any fancy gimmick or all these things. But if our team just has the same kind of information and knowledge about the product and what we do as we do it over there, I think we are good enough. I think we are sorted out, because it's nothing to do with what is a new beverage that you're coming out with, or what is a new food that you're coming out with. It's not about that. People are coming because I think they've got an associative memory, and they're like more towards like, hey, it's a big family of yours, kind of a thing. Like I have seen one more thing, that few people who we hired, who are now a part of a team, just 6 days into it, they've caught on to the vibe very quickly.
And they are from Nagpur itself.
They are from Nagpur, yeah.
Why do you have, the people working with you, the baristas, or somebody who's helping you out with the coffee business? Why do you have people from Nagpur? I mean, is there a concept behind that as well?
Not really. So we have actually we've got a mix of this thing from Nagpur as well, and out of the city as well, with who I was working with earlier. But Nagpur, of course, because I mean, I don't know why. Even now we think that Nagpur is a small city. We're not a small city anymore. We're not as big as the other metros and all, but we are not as tiny as we think, really. So that is one thing. And also, like, right from the first day, what I wanted was that nobody calls at quarter 7 a brewer like, hey, I want my coffee. We saw that once, but that person fell out of the place because everybody looked at him saying, kya kar raha hai? Our guests, not even us. So I think alternative career and somebody who really is passionate about coffee, quarter 7 is kind of opening doors for them to, explore themselves, I would say. But at the same time, we have few people from outside who got an experience in hotel industry, in hotel management, in other cafes, who are senior in the industry, like 18 years experience. So it's a mix of both.
You've spoken about, you just explained me there was a customer who came down, and, he had this different way of addressing some of your colleagues. A sense of belongingness, as soon as if I'm a customer, I enter the door, I feel there's a sense of belongingness which comes immediately. I mean, I just feel I am at home.
Yeah.
So, what is that magic behind? I mean, what is the magic behind that? Because, I have been to other cafes, not like I don't go elsewhere. But when I enter corridor 7, it's like, the colleagues, everyone is waving at me. Everyone already knows me. Everybody already knows what my taste is. Once, because I am a regular, obviously. Second, Even if I wasn't a regular, I have friends who are the first timers. I have friends who are visiting from outside, and when I take them there, they feel the same sense of belonging over there. So, what's the magic behind that?
I think it's an entire team. It's nothing. There's no magical formula as such, but it's the team that has been built around and how everybody's taking care of what the ethics of the place is. Like I'll tell you one incident. Like initially back in 2018, one of the briefings that I had given to my team before the cafe starts. So we have got a briefing session every morning. It's a part of what we do. In that briefing, I remember I was telling my team like, look guys, where you are in this cafe, we don't have parking around. Just understand the psychology of the customers walking in. They're parking somewhere else. It's May, right? It's May, June. It's really hot outside. Probably they might be irritated like, where am I going? What am I doing? Yeah. You gotta just understand that and remember, if your family member was walking through that door after all these things, what would you do?
Yeah.
Just think that about.
Sure.
So I think that's been circulated and that's been passed on with every team member really well. And one change we've seen, like it does not matter, as I keep saying, that speak in whatever language it is, till the time you're warm enough genuinely that you really want to take care of the customer, I think you're sorted. So that confidence comes only after you have the information of the place, of the food, of the coffee that you have. Only then can you be confidently speaking about it. So I think that warmth comes from the information that everybody focuses on.
From the business point of view, Mithilesh, the first one is doing okay. The second one is just been 6 days and it's going well as well. Do you not feel it's time for a franchise now, from a business point of view, to go to another city now? You know, target that city, make people fall in love with Corridor 7 coffee roasters elsewhere.
Franchise, I don't think so. A lot of things come very instantly out of your gut feeling, which you can't really put in SOP. Right? Franchise, first thing that you need is a strict bonded SOP. Corridor 7 is more about gut feeling, more about your what do you say, intangible thoughts. So you can't really go for that. And I know one thing, like if I go for a franchisee, at least not now, I don't see that happening for the next few years at least.
Oh, a few years.
Yeah, easy.
How long? Few years can be 5 years, few years can be 10 years.
Maybe 5
5
years.
years.
I would rather have my self-owned business running in other cities where I'm taking care of it. I'm involved in a lot of things which are important and which can be kind of replicated. But franchisee, not. I have a lot of calls that have been put down, like saying, sorry, I don't do franchisee, but not so soon.
When you enter the place, this doesn't seem like it's only for teenagers. It doesn't seem like it's only for the working class. It doesn't seem like it's for kids. It seems a place which is for all age groups.
Yeah.
You know, again, I would question you about the concept. Is there been an inspiration?
I would say the beginning of Corridor 7 over there was exactly how it was, this is. Because we had the roastery. We had very less footfall because we did not market whatsoever. Yeah. It was more of a word of mouth that spread. And initially we had a lot of time to spend with each and every guest that walked in. So when you said about grandparents, we can never forget few days where kids brought their grandparents and said like... They did? Yeah, they did a lot of time. Like, this is how it happens, this is what happened. They were sitting, they were having coffee.
They're more enthusiastic than us.
Yes, and it's a very emotional moment, you know, when you see that, like, wow. So that has been the concept of Corridor throughout. Yeah. What changed was the pandemic. You know, with the pandemic, with our experience giving cut out, right? That entirely kind of getting cut out. What happened was we became known for the coffee more than the experience that we give. All right, because we moved the roastery over here. We do not do the cupping sessions over there anymore. So there are a lot of people who come in and they're like, yeah, coffee is good, but what is more to them? Is that it, you know? So this is why this place is kind of bringing those good old days back, and it's more of like retelling the same story again in a different format. That look, this is what we are. We give you experience. Ask us anything about coffee. We are more than happy to tell you. If we don't know, we'll find out the answer and give it to you. But just have a look around, you know. So that is what we were doing. So I would say my inspiration would be 2018 Corridor 7 when it started out. So that's how it was.
So thank you, Mithilesh, for sharing a lot about Standing Room. I think it's going to be a wonderful place.
Thank you so much.
Team Corridor 7's love for coffee is surreal. They surely will not stop brewing. Having a wonderful day spent here, this place is surely worth checking out. Going ahead to enjoy some more coffee. This is me, Gursshheen, signing off until next time. Mask up and be safe.
Subscribe to Nation Next YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get regular updates from Nation Next. Also like Nation Next Facebook page and follow us on Instagram and Twitter.